Hello and welcome to this presentation on the pitfalls, pleasures and possibilities of franchising. My name is Robert Glenister from the Entrepreneur's Source. Over the last 26 years, we have enabled thousands of individuals start successful new careers in the franchise world. In the course of this presentation, I will show you how to evaluate franchises for your goals and needs, avoid some common mistakes, and learn the best practices and techniques to find franchise opportunities that will bring you success. I'm excited to tell you about all this, so let's get started. Everyone knows that the American dream has taken a long vacation over the last few years, leaving many of us frustrated and unsure about our future. But we all still yearn to become independently wealthy and enjoy the good things in life, for ourselves and for our family. Admittedly, while no one starts out wanting to own a business, it is what a well-run business can provide that makes it desirable and an alternative to the job market. The information here from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics details recent unemployment numbers. The sad fact is that for the past 3 years, high unemployment has become a fact of life. This is one of the drivers that are causing some people to rethink their career options and consider self-employment options, including franchising. Albert Einstein is credited with this little quote: "What is the definition of insanity?" Yes, you know this. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We've all been in situations in our careers or in our life where we appear to be going round and round in circles. If you feel this way currently in your career, maybe you should consider a different approach. Now, searching on Google for alternative career options might be one way to go, but the honest truth is, it will more likely confuse rather than enlighten you. If you've never been self-employed, or you've been in one career path most of your working life, it can be hard to recognize that career change could be a good option for you. But as we've already said, there are so many options and possibilities. How do we make sense of it all? In terms of alternatives to the job market, there are 6 areas of self-employment that most people consider. Of course, today we're focused on franchise opportunities, but let's briefly cover the 5 other categories of self-employment. I'll go in reverse order. Real estate. While in the long term investment properties can be a viable business option, with the current uncertainties in the real estate market and the continuing downward trend in house prices, it is hard to see in the short or medium term how this would replace a full-time salary. The stock market. Most people have an expectation that in the long term, like the housing market, share prices will continue to rise. However, the sheer volatility of today's stock market and the extreme movements both down and up that share prices are making today makes the whole investment in stocks an investor's nightmare. Unless you consider yourself a professional day trader and are not afraid to speculate, it is hard to make a business case for this option that will provide a replacement for a salary and provide a consistent return. Startups. Everyone has been hearing a lot about Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. He is one of the most influential names in the high-tech world of social media, and no doubt worth tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. If you have a great idea that could become the next Facebook or Google, by all means pursue your dream, and I certainly wish you all the best. However, for the vast majority of us, this simply does not apply, and we're looking for a realistic way of earning a good income. Being a consultant. Perhaps you have a technical background and have considered turning your technical skills into becoming an independent consultant. Many people have tried this. How do you do that, and what can you expect? Well, on the positive side, you typically have low startup costs. There are no employees to manage, You set your own schedule, and each day is different. So far, so good. The challenges are marketing yourself to prospective businesses that might want to use your skills, and then to keep lining up new work while delivering your services to the current client. The consultant world is cutthroat, and getting your pricing correct, especially when starting out, is all important. If you're too expensive, no one will want to use you. Too cheap, no one will take you seriously. For some people it can work out great, but for many the work is very sporadic, and it is hard to keep a business afloat and provide for your family. Starting your own small business. Well, we're going to be spending the next few minutes comparing starting your own business versus buying into a franchise. So let's keep moving forward and just mention that just because I might be good at something, say repairing cars, doesn't mean I have the right skill sets and knowledge to run a business that repairs cars. They are two different things, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Lastly, franchising. Again, the focus of the next few slides is all about comparing franchises versus independent businesses. So let's move on. I just mentioned that knowing how to repair cars does not automatically mean I would be good at running a car repair business. How do we assess not just our professional skills, but our business skills? For those who've been unemployed, you may have read or at least heard of a very popular career book called What Color is Your Parachute by Richard Bowles. There is a section in the book devoted to self-employment and how to assess your business skills. He comes up with a very simple but effective way of assessing what you may be lacking and how to remedy that problem. The formula A minus B equals C, where A are the skills and knowledge needed to run this kind of business, minus B, the skills and knowledge which I already have, equals C, the skills and knowledge which I either have to learn or get someone to do for me. For instance, if business finances are an area that I would struggle with, I should consider hiring a bookkeeper to manage the business accounts. How do you learn what skills you need to run a particular type of business? Well, you should talk to a couple of business owners who are doing what you want to do and ask them to explain what business skills they recognize are important to be successful in this type of business. However, be careful. Be sure to go to business owners a ways outside of the area you would be operating in, so they won't view you as a competitor. Many people who have considered franchises have backed away from joining. In discussions I've had with clients, those who've previously looked into franchising have typically not moved ahead with their plans for 3 good reasons. 1. They didn't know with any degree of certainty they would be successful. 2. They didn't know how long it would take to break even and even reach a certain level of income. And 3. They worried the franchisor would either treat them badly or not support them, or both. So, what if you could know with some certainty that you would be successful in a franchise, and that you could know how long it would take to reach break-even and to reach a certain income, and that you would know that the franchisor will do right by you and give you all the help you need? Would that make a difference? First of all, in comparing independent businesses with franchises, here is a 10-year government-funded study on the success and failure rates of small independent businesses versus franchise units. You can see here that over a 10-year period, 90% of franchise units were still operational. Compare that to small independent businesses, and just 18% of small businesses were still in operation after 10 years. Admittedly, the study does not provide much granularity in terms of types of businesses that were studied, but at the macro level, it's hard to dispute that franchises typically do better than independent businesses. Now, that's not to say if you have an idea for starting your own business that you can't be successful. We're now going to look at a few of the reasons that are behind the independent business failures and compare that to franchising. So the question is, why do so many independent businesses fail? As we've just seen on the previous slide, over half of all independent businesses will fail or cease operation in their first 3 years. Well, the good news is it doesn't have to be that way. The Small Business Administration, or SBA, they have a website, sba.gov, and it has a wealth of good information for the small business owner. They've even documented the reasons why businesses fail, as you can see here, such as lack of capital, no business plan, no marketing strategy, etc. They also provide helpful how-tos and ways of preparing your business for success. So, with a little bit of forethought and planning, it is possible to sidestep these issues and start your business off on a good footing. Let's examine another reason why small business failures are so common. Michael Gerber's Small Business Classic, The E-Myth Revisited, examines the problems of starting a small business, and he succinctly lays out the 2 fatal assumptions and the fatal problem that many small business owners have made. Fatal assumption number 1. Doing what you know, love and enjoy will bring success. Fatal assumption number 2. By working hard in a business, I will be successful. And the fatal problem, by working in the business instead of on the business, you in essence buy yourself a job and you run out of time and energy needed to do the most important work of an owner, the marketing, the promoting, and the managing of the business. Michael Gerber then points to the franchise industry as an example of how to run a successful business operation. What is it about franchises that have made them so successful in comparison to independent business startups? Well, we'll continue to explore this in part 2 of this presentation. I'll join you there.